What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fight Exchange, brought to you by Prediction Strike. I'm joined by my co-host David Jackson. We're talking UFC Vegas 71. We're going to go through the card. We're going to let you know who we feel like might be some investable opportunities on Prediction Strike. David, my guy, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Super excited. I'm always excited for a fight week, so I'm just pumped to talk about it. Definitely have some interesting matchups today, and excited to get your take on some of these.
Absolutely, man. It's a weird card. You know, the whole schedule here with the Fight Exchange, for everybody listening, we go every other week. That's the game plan. And I would not have picked this week. If we could choose a fight card to talk about, I would not have chosen this one. But hey, we rolled the dice. It is what it is. We got to get into it, and we'll have some interesting thoughts this week, I'm sure.
We'll make it fun.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Make sure you head on over to Prediction Strike. If you want to sign up, use the promo code FE. That is the Fight Exchange. Let them know we sent you. And of course, it's not just MMA over there. We're deep in the playoffs, NBA and NHL. They've got all that. Football's coming up. We got a whole new crop of, young players. The draft is in a week or so. So get in there, invest in some of these athletes, and have some fun. The first fight up for the UFC Vegas 71 event is going to be none other than Brady Heastand, and he is taking on UFC, I guess, veteran at this point, Dana Batgari. Dana is 70 cents on the dollar here. It looks like the young gun, Brady Heastand, is 84 cents, just a little bit more expensive. And David, I just want to let you kick this one off, man. Who do you think is more investable, and who do you think wins on Saturday?
Ooh, well, they're both at kind of interesting prices. We got Dana at 70 cents, and then Brady is 84. Um, it's it's kind of hard to say. I think I'm gonna just roll with Dana on this one. I think he's just the I think he's just the tougher of the two. I mean, he's like a straight up hardcore Mongolian, and he scares me. And I think that's where my investment is going to go. Whatever guy I'm scared of, like at this level, knowing as much as I know about both of them, the one that scares me the most, Dana, I think it's promising, and I think he's definitely gonna win.
Okay.
I
You
think
and
he's
I
a slight
agree.
favorite too.
Yep, slight favorite on the betting line right out the gates, man. You and I completely agree. My favorite gym of all time, Fight Ready, right out here in Arizona. Dana went on over there to work on his wrestling skill set. That was something that gave him trouble in his last couple fights. He's never really taken it too seriously, but the dude's got absolute nukes in his hands. And we've seen Brady Heastand pieced up by some people, dropped already in the UFC, got knocked out by Chad and Hellinger on the regional scene. Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I actually think that we've got a rightful favorite in Dana, and I will side with you. He is terrifying. So let's
Yes.
go. Let's go
Um,
back to Reed.
Also, just a quick tip for all the viewers: if you see a really a cheap price on a favorite, grab it.
Yeah,
Grab it. That's the thing where you can use the odds to your favor without actually, quote unquote, betting, but still making sure you're getting a good price.
absolutely. Shop around, give yourself some extra outs. If they're cheaper over here, use Prediction Strike.
Why not?
Next fight up is going to be Karine Silva. She is taking on the zombie girl, my girl, Priscilla Cachoeira. We've got
Your
Cachoeira
girl.
sitting at an even dollar. She's been in the UFC for quite some time. Karine is down, it looks like. She is just 93 cents. And this is an interesting fight to me because I know we've had Priscilla Cachoeira show up and knock a couple heads off. She's got some serious firepower for the women's weight class. But Karine Silva, she seems like she's kind of the flavor of the week this week. David, what are you doing on this one?
Uh, I like Priscilla. I mean, I like the that hardcore action with her, and I think she's the one who's at an even dollar. Yeah, is that right?
Yeah, she's sitting at a dollar, and Karina's at just shy of a buck there, 93 cents.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being completely honest, it's not a fight that like I'm super excited to invest in. But I feel like Priscilla is more investable if I'm looking at the two side by side.
Yeah, this one's tough for me. I mean, Karina Silva's a decent bit younger. She's 29 years old, so I think long term she might be the side. But man, I her wrestling is no good. So, like, if you're going to stand and bang with Priscilla Cachoeira, then you're giving her opportunity to win. I'm with you, man. I would kind of let the dust settle on this one. Um, I think I have to kind of side with Silva finding her way to a submission at some point and winning the fight, but I have zero confidence in that, and I don't really want to suggest anybody invest money long term on either of these particular fighters.
Completely agree.
All right, we're in agreement there on that one, man. Next up, maybe a little bit of a different story though. We've got William Gomi, $1.08, taking on Francis, the Fire Marshal, who's sitting at $1.33. And man, I don't really know what to make of William Gomi. He's 11-2. Seems like he checks all the boxes, but he's not very fun. He's not very exciting. He's kind of risk adverse in his fighting style. And we know the UFC doesn't really smile too much on that. And it doesn't do anything for your price tag on Prediction Strike if you're not getting those finishes. Francis Marshall, on the other hand, he's coming up off the Contender Series. People like the guy. He's got a knockout punch in his, UFC debut. That's got to be the side.
Yeah, I mean, I actually couldn't agree with you more. I mean, you know me, I'm really big on these kind of uh I'm kind of looking at what the UFC is looking at as far as their marketing machine and who they want to invest in themselves. So if I had to guess, I'd say the UFC is probably more willing to invest in Francis, and so am I.
Okay. I'm right there with you, man. Couldn't agree. Let's go Fire Marshal. We all like the same side here on this one. And next up, we've got a brother, unless I'm mistaken, Junior Tafa, making his UFC debut. That's right. Justin Tafa's little brother, apparently 65 cents here. Pretty cheap price tag coming in here against Muhammad Usman, the brother of Kamaru. So it's like brother versus brother here in this spot. Very interesting.
I like
Both
that
very
story.
cheap candidates. Man, I'm sorry. I've got a problem with Usman. I just don't think he's good, and he's old too, David. Like, this is the
What's the
bad
age on this
Usman.
guy? What's the age
Huh?
on this guy?
You know what? Muhammad Usman is 8-2, and he's 34 years old. So, like, he had his UFC debut off the Ultimate Fighter against Zach Paugua, was losing the fight up until he punched him in the second round. That guy's a 205er who
Yeah.
was competing at heavyweight for the Ultimate Fighter. I don't know that there's a single heavyweight that Muhammad Usman actually beats on the roster. Like, bring Jared Bandera back and I think he beats this guy. Like, I am just not impressed. I'm sorry. Like, maybe he proves me wrong on Saturday, but there's one side and one side only that I would be buying in, and that's the Tafa side. But at 4-0, I don't know if he's UFC caliber either. This is the biggest stay away on the entire card for me, man. What do you think?
I think so too. I mean, you could at these prices, you could have a little fun and just some sprinkles, just to see what's going on. But I completely agree with you. I mean, there is a little bit more surprisingly just experience on Usman's side with MMA, and he's been in there and maybe he's felt a little bit more with those little gloves. But I do think you're right. Justin Tapa does have the kickboxing experience. I mean, he's fighting with those big, nasty dudes over there, like nonstop. So he's going to be familiar with some power punchers. I think he's probably going to be a little bit more technical. I don't think the Usman is some kind of crazy wrestler, so I don't see any power blast doubles or anything crazy like that going down. I think it's going to be a punch fest, and I think Tapa probably wins that one. Probably.
Yeah, probably, maybe. I've got zero confidence whatsoever, but man, you kind of nailed it though. If you know something, maybe you're one of those guys over there in Australia and you've seen Junior Tafa and you're just going, that's the next champ. That's the UFC's next heavyweight GOAT right there. And if you believe that, 65 cents is about as good of an entry point as you're going to get. Most of these fighters come in here and their first price tag is somewhere in the ballpark of 80 cents, maybe $1. So coming in at 65, you could get some serious ROI if you believe in the Tafa bros. That ain't me. But if you want to take a shot, you go for it. That's what we're talking about with these long-term investments. Next up, man, let's talk about Norma Dumont. Big Norm is $1.98, and I call her Big Norm respectively or respectfully. She is She is ripped up. If you've seen her Instagram, man, abs for days. She's taking on Carol Hosa, who's
Oh yeah.
$1.61, moving up to 145. I'm gonna see how she does at a higher weight class here because Norma simply cannot make 135. She's tried and failed multiple times. Very confusing fight for me, man. Do you want to invest in either of these ladies?
Um, no, not really. If I'm just being honest with you, I mean, if you're gonna ask me straight up like that, then I gotta say no.
Truth hurts sometimes, man.
Because I'm an honest guy. I do think Norma wins the fight for whatever that's worth. You know, I think she's. I mean, she's obviously battle tested, and you know, gun to my head, I'm picking Norma in that matchup.
Okay. Man, I honestly, I know they don't do that at Prediction Strike, but I like the split decision prop on this one. I think the judges are going to have no idea who won this fight at the end of it. We're going to get scorecards all over the place. You know, I think Norma's going to be able to have some control time. I think she hits a little harder, so like the big moments will come from Norma, but then I think just the pure volume of strikes will come from Carol Rosa. So it's going to be like, what do the judges favor that night? The big shots, the volume. I don't know. I don't put your money on this one for Prediction Strike. If you want to buy low on one of these ladies afterward, maybe go for it. But I can't imagine buying $2 a share on Norm. There's so many other fighters and so many other athletes on Prediction Strike.
Way
Much
better
better
deal.
opportunities.
Way better deals. Protect your
Way
money.
better. We need a discount, man. All right. Next up, we got Montel Jackson, who is $1.38, taking on the gotta be nearing retirement age Ronnie Yaya, who's $1.23. Man, this has got to be the point. Like, you know, last call for Montel Jackson, because at $1.38, 30 years old, big frame for the weight class, high caliber knockout power, submission upside, like if he's gonna put it all together, now's the
Right
time
now.
for this man to put it all together. So if you want to get in, if you think he's capable, if he's going to be a contender, this is the last time you're going to get a good price tag on him. And I think he can finish old man Ronnie Yaya because we've seen him rocked, we've seen him hurt, we've seen him knocked out before, and the gas tank isn't what it used to be. I like Montel Jackson on Saturday quite a bit.
I super like Montel Jackson. Also, every time I see his name, I can't help but think of Montel Jordan, and I love Montel Jordan. So this guy is, you know, all thumbs up for me. I think you pretty much nailed it. He's strong all around, and Ronnie Yaya is you know, pretty much a one-dimensional older fighter.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, the odds in this one are pretty clear. Everyone is pretty unanimous on who we think's going to win this one. And yeah, if you can get that awesome $1.38 price on Montel Jackson, go ahead and grab it.
I agree, man. I agree. And not to mention, we talk about it sometimes, the betting line versus the prediction strike. You guys can get $1.38 per share on Montel Jackson right here on Prediction Strike. He's a 6-1 favorite on the betting line for Saturday. So if you're looking at an opportunity to increase that return on your investment, I think Montel Jackson might be the best spot on the board from a prediction strike standpoint coming in here on Saturday.
Oh yeah, you can see an instant gains this weekend if you want.
Absolutely. All right. Smash and grab, baby. Next up, Christos Giagos, who's 81 cents, and I honestly forgot existed, taking on Ricky Glenn, who's $1.05 here on Saturday. Man, I'll be honest with you. This is another one I just want nothing to do with. I forgot Christos Giagos was even on the roster. He's fighting for his opportunity to stay with the UFC on Saturday, so maybe he gets the win. At the end of the day, I think he's a mid to low level UFC caliber fighter. Ricky Glenn, you could say the same thing. Dude's 35 years old, so the end isn't, far away for him. Maybe he's got more upside. Maybe he's got some finishing upside, so the price will, jump just a tad bit, but I'm not entirely sure what to make of him still as far as his skill set goes. We just haven't seen a lot of him. This one's a stay away for me. Do you have a hot take that maybe I don't?
No hot takes here on this one. Again, yeah, it is hard. 35. I mean, I think Ricky is going to win the fight, but I think you're right at 35. I don't think this guy's got a pretty high ceiling, and it just doesn't look attractive to me. as an investment.
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. We talked about it with the Norm situation. We are looking for investments. Best investment is to keep your money in your pocket here for this one. There's other chances, there's other opportunities. We will find some other spots here for you. Speaking of other spots, next up we got Matt Simmelsberger, who is $1.17, a man who I just cannot seem to get right, taking on Jeremiah Wells, $1.49. This is a tough fight, David, and I actually really like this one. I mean, just as like a fan perspective, I can't wait to see what happens in this car crash. What do you make of this fight, and who do you got winning?
Man, I'm very excited for this one, and I got to tell you, Matthew Simmelsberger has won me over. I was kind of, I was a doubter, um, and this guy just comes to the table and he brings it every time. Like he's looking crispy. I liked how he looked against Jake Matthews. Like that was pretty impressive for me. I think I had Matthews in that fight, and was proven wrong. And I think he's gonna win this fight. He looks crispy and kind of just like little too much pop on his punches. Like the guy just, I feel like he's gonna control this fight and probably get a dominant victory. That's what I think.
Okay. All right. I'm struggling with this one, man. Every time I doubt Jeremiah Wells, he comes through like a wrecking ball in round one and just destroys the guy across from the octagon. Um, Matt Simmelsberger, I've zigged when I should zag every single time, right when he convinces me and I bet on him. That's when he flops and he falls short. So, not one I'm planning on personally betting this week, just because I have not had a great read on either fighter. But my gut tells me, and you should be terrified because I agree with you. I think Matt Simmelsberger might be able to just avoid the big nuke, play the range game, turn the volume up the deeper the fight goes. But like I said, I've doubted I've doubted Wells before, and I've paid for it. So my money's staying in my pocket on this one.
That's fair. That is totally fair.
Do you like either of them prediction strike wise?
Um, I could see myself maybe doing some trickles on Matthew Simmelsberger, but um, again, if I'm being honest, this I don't see this guy maybe fighting for a championship anytime soon, so
Mhm.
I'm not expecting much of a return there.
Yeah. I think that's probably accurate there. He's a bit up, a bit down, but he is only 30 years old. So you never know. He could turn that corner. He could make some improvements. I think that would be the side if you were going to play it on prediction strike at all.
100%.
All right. Everybody, do us a favor. Hit the like button for us. If you haven't already, make sure you follow my guy, David Jackson, on the socials, and make sure you jump in here on Prediction Strike. Promo code FE. Get your deposit in here and invest in some of these fighters. Next up, we got Brogan Walker, a hardcore 67 cents per share on her, taking on Yasmin Lucendo. And I messed up, David. I messed up. We still don't have the betting alarm. We still don't have the button to whack when there's a, run to the window type of situation. And I
Oh
think we
man.
need it. I think we need it on this one, man. I am all about Yasmin Lucendo. Bro, she's 21 years old. She already had a fight of the night banger. And the UFC are going, you know what? Let's bring her right back around. We're not going to put her on the prelims. We're going to set her up with an old Ultimate Fighter runner up here and put her right back on the main card. And you know what that says to me? That says showcase. They're not putting Brogan Walker on the main card. They're putting 21-year-old monster phenom Yasmin Lucendo on the main card. She is a 3-1 betting favorite, and she's just 58 cents per share. Hit the button, baby. I'm all about me
Let's
some
go.
Yasmin Lucendo.
All day. Complete agreement on this one. 58
Let's go.
cents. I'm drooling over on my computer here. That's like, I'm like, oh my. That is it's a great price. I hope all the money you saved on the fights that weren't investable right here. This is your opportunity.
This is the one. And that's it.
This is
I'm
the one.
sorry, folks. Like this, we talked about a spot a little bit earlier on the card. This one I think is better. If I had to really pick between Montel Jackson and Yasmin Lucendo, you're getting much cheaper shares on Lucendo. She is also the younger fighter, and I think potentially has the higher ceiling. that's the one for this card.
Oh yeah, easily.
All right, let's go. All team Yasmin Lucindo, full steam ahead, baby. The next fight on the card, though, Jared the Flash Gordon sitting at a solid 76 cents. Highly disappointing with how long he's been in the UFC.
Wow.
Bobby King Green, $1.13. You could say the same thing. He's still just a buck after all these years of combat here. Honestly, man, I think these guys have both kind of ceilinged out. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. This is one of the weird spots where, yes, I'm excited for this fight. I was excited to talk about this fight, but as you said their names, I started to realize these guys aren't going anywhere though. They've already gone everywhere. So while this is a fun fight, um, definitely a great one that you can not be invested in and just sit back and enjoy. That's what I'm going to be doing for this fight. But for the record, oh, it's tough, but I kind of do think Bobby Green wins the fight.
I couldn't agree more. I'm absolutely 1000% on Bobby Green here in this spot. I actually already have Bobby Green in a parlay. I think he wins the fight, but he's a decisionator. He just doesn't get many finishes. That prediction strike price tag isn't going to go up very much. He's older. He's going to change his name to King Green after this fight, apparently, but he's going to be on the retirement track. He's not going to be challenging for a title. I don't think you get much return on investment there. And Jared Gordon, man, as much as I love the guy, I love his story. I do like him in certain fights and spots. He's also the anti-finisher. He's another decision guy. And he only beats people who arguably don't belong in the UFC right now. Like, I just think there's no investment in either of these guys. You're better off money line if you actually like some action on Saturday. Better spots on the card if you want long-term investments here.
I mean, there is an interesting scenario or timeline where maybe Jared Gordon has this big chip on his shoulder after all the Paddy Pimblett drama. Comes in, is ready to just stick it to the man. I could see that happening.
Possible. I need to see it to believe it. I think you could spin that angle, but at the end of the day, I just don't know that he's capable. I think he's going to have a hard time tracking down Bobby Green. I think if you put Bobby Green and Paddy Pimblett in the cage together, Bobby knocks him out.
oh yeah.
Hot take, baby.
I like that. I would love that fight.
I hope so. You know what? And honestly, I think they might be actually kind of setting that up here because, we got Paddy losing to Jared. If Bobby beats Jared, by the time Paddy's ready to come back, you don't run it back with Jared Gordon coming off a loss. Like, maybe they run it back because of all the controversy about that decision. Maybe they run it back if Gordon's coming off a win. But if not, the option is, okay, let's match you up with the other guy that just beat Gordon then. And they run Bobby Green and Paddy Pimblett thinking he can improve in the time off enough to go ahead and get the decision over Green. I think that's what's going on.
I was hoping for Paddy Pimblett versus Drew Dober. That's what I wanted to see.
Drew would murder Paddy.
Absolutely. That's what I wanted to see.
They'd never let it happen.
I know. It's very, very saddening.
That man's got bubble wrap on him. Thanks, Barstool.
Yeah.
All right. All right, man. Co-main event of the evening, Bruno Silva taking on Brad Tavares. And we've got Bruno Silva sitting here at 76 cents. Brad Tavares, he's been around a little longer, $1.53. What do you make of this fight? Who you like?
Whew, this is a weird fight.
It is.
Weird matchup. I kind of like it just because it's funky and came out of left field. From an investment standpoint, I think the only place I could really justify investing would be on the Bruno Silva side, since this guy does love to put people to sleep. I mean, that's exciting. Is it definitely going to be an exciting fight that can drive your stock up, your stock price up? And at 76 cents, why not? Yeah, I'll invest a little bit on there and see what happens. But that would be the only way I could invest in this fight. And I honestly don't know who wins this fight. Brad Tavares, I guess, a little bit more consistent in what he brings to the table. Bruno Silva, like super crazy knockout artist, but looked weird against GM3. So yeah, I'm not really sure what to expect. What's your take on this fight?
I actually have a bet on the underdog here on this one, man. I like Bruno. I do think that Brad Tavares has shown some durability concerns. You know, his last fight, he toughed through it. He took everything Dricus du Plessis had, but he got his face beaten off in that fight. And Dricus has since had his nose and cardio fixed and moved up a weight class and all that good stuff. So I actually think that Bruno can do much of the same here. I think Bruno hits just as hard. And if they get into the kind of ground scrambles, we've seen Bruno's capable of working his way back up to the feet. He looked notably skinnier against Gerald Meerschaert. I'll be honest with you, man. I think he got his doctor back going into this fight because you can see his abs again. You can see his veins again. Like, my guy is ready for this fight. I think Bruno Silva pulls the upset. And of the two, he is the cheaper and the younger option. So I like him for prediction strike too.
Yeah, that's fun.
It's going to be a good one, man. Here we go. Main event time. We got Curtis, Razor, Blaydes, maybe one of the most expensive non-champion fighters on the board. $5.35 a share, taking on his opponent, Sergei Pavlovich, who's $3.30. What an event, man. This is going to be a banger until one of these guys is unconscious, and I think it takes probably about 7 minutes maximum for that to happen.
Yep.
What do you make of this fight, and who do you like?
Oh, I think my camera.
We lost your camera.
Oh no. Okay, let's go here.
Technical difficulties.
Difficulties. No. Sorry, folks.
You know what? It's the last fight on the card, man. We can just hammer it out and
Black it
we'll
out.
fix it for the next one.
You can hear me, yeah?
Yeah, audio's coming in clear. You're good.
Okay, great. So on this fight, this is what I'm thinking. I'm either investing in Sergey or nah. That's tough because I can see a path for Sergey to become a champion. If John Jones isn't in the picture. John Jones is in the picture, and I also think Curtis Blaydes has a chip on his shoulder, and he is going to win this fight, which means I won't be investing in either of these guys.
Okay.
The price on Curtis is just too high for me to buy in on, and I don't think Sergey is going to win. You could have a literal opposite opinion of mine. I'm super excited to see what you got to say.
Yeah, man. I've actually got a bet on Curtis Blaydes here for this fight. I like him in this spot, and I think the problem for me is, we talk about this almost every week. It's really tough for these main event fighters to be investable long-term on Prediction Strike because how do you jump in at $5 a share? Does it really go up from there? I mean, with Curtis Blaydes, maybe it does. Like, he could hit the $6 or $7 mark because realistically, John Jones is probably going to hang it up after his next fight. So that leaves the title completely open. And I think Curtis is the best non-John Jones heavyweight on the planet right now. If Francis wasn't around, Curtis Blaydes is your heavyweight champion. And
Yep.
I think he's got the style to cause a lot of these big power punchers problems. We saw what happened with, Derek Lewis when he gets clipped. So that could happen. Pavlovich could get him out of there in round 1. That seems to be what he does. But I can't get the Alistair Overeem fight out of my head. He gets taken down once and the dude's a helpless baby. He's used to being the hammer. He is not used to being the nail. And nobody's the hammer against Curtis Blaydes. So yeah, man, I like Curtis Blaydes here in this spot. I struggle with Prediction Strike. Maybe we can estimate that you get like a 1/5 return on your investment. And like we've said a couple times before, I just think there's better opportunities than that. I'm not going to play on this one. But if you are on the other side, if you do like Sergei Pavlovich, $3.30 is cheap. When we're talking about a, $5, $6, $7 championship status, he's got a beeline for the title here. If he knocks out Blaydes on Saturday, he's right in line for a title shot. John Jones vacates. This is probably your champion. And you're looking at a big future with a young guy who finishes everybody in the first round. You could legitimately see a 2 times return on this investment at $3.30. So honestly, man, I don't hate either side. You could tell me that you're investing in smartly on either of these fighters.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And if you really believe in Sergey, wait till he loses and get him at an even cheaper price.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
this heavyweight division isn't super deep. You know, he could easily get his way back to a championship or a title contender fight pretty quickly. So yeah, I'd be cool with that.
Buy the dip. I don't mind that strategy one bit. All right. Man, that is UFC Vegas 71, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with us here on the Fight Exchange for Prediction Strike. David, my guy, any closing thoughts? You want to tell the people anything on the way out?
Take all that money you saved, all the money we didn't invest, and throw it on Lucienda.
There it is. I like it. That's the move for this week, folks. We will see you right back here on Fight Exchange for UFC 288. Aljamain Sterling taking on Henry Cejudo in 2 weeks. And until then, you guys be good, invest well. Good luck on all your action, and make sure you sign up with promo code FE. We'll catch you next time.